in Texas. This is what the Knicks do. I can tell you my first move this weekend, it was Saturday after we wrapped up the party animals at Loco Beach Coconuts. By the way, if you don't mind the 300 milligrams of caffeine, that'd be, thank you. Wrap up the game, and it's the fastest loadout I've ever been a part of. Like, immediately game ends, let's go. Somebody call the Uber, get the bus, we're out of here. And made it to a bar. I was about 40 minutes outside of New York City on the Jersey side, and made it to a bar for the final minute and a half. And the whole place, wall to wall, elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, everyone. The touch of New York, getting a taste of being in the fray over the weekend, reminded me what we love about sports. The communal effervescence. You saw the videos that came out of New York. They will continue to populate on your feed through the parade on Thursday. This is one of the great sports moments we've had in decades. New York comes together around one brand, and it's the Knicks. You're split up between the Mets and the Yankees. A lot of very passionate Mets fans. You are split up between the Giants and the Jets. A lot of passionate Jets fans. But there's one thing all of New York agrees on. It is the Knicks. And it's no longer just a fashion statement, just a hat to wear. For the first time in 53 years, the New York Knicks are NBA champions. That's the launching point we have today. That's where we get to go today. The Stanley Cup final, the New York Knicks title, and 3 hours of it. Josh Graham, who has he has pictures of himself as a child on the ice in Raleigh, a fan of the Carolina Hurricanes. Chris Sachi, the host of Locked On Knicks, two of the most passionate guys that have taken you through this postseason run, will both join the show today. I would like to start with what happened last night. We're going to spend a lot of time this week, the next 2 weeks, talking about the NBA, the finals, the draft coming up. We'll spend a ton of time on it. But last night's Stanley Cup Finals victory cannot be brushed over for Carolina, because that is one of my favorite storylines of all of this. There's the drought, the 2-decade drought. There's the Jordan Staal, 37 years old, winning a cup again. This time with Carolina and leading Carolina there after a long career where he's had success but never ultimate success in the postseason. The dominance of the postseason run for the Hurricanes, 16-3 overall. But I cannot get over Brandon Bussey and his rise in this Stanley Cup final. He is only the third first-year goalie in NHL history to record a shutout in a Stanley Cup clinching game, stopping all 22 shots that he faced. He wasn't starting in that position at the beginning of this series. Freddie Anderson was. But after Anderson had struggled and was out of gas, needed a break, that was the quote from head coach of Carolina, Rob Brindamore. He needs a break. Brandon Bussey stepped in and was dominant and earned a Stanley Cup. Let's take you back. First period. We're only a few minutes in, and Taylor Hall on the road in Las Vegas. You can hear this audio courtesy of Sportsnet. You can hear how loud those. Vegas is a pretty convenient place to get to for a lot of Americans. Vegas likes to make it convenient to get to Las Vegas, and a ton of Carolina Hurricanes fans were in the house when Taylor Hall early on made it 1-0.
Sir, up at 119. There's a lead feed. Taylor Hall is in. Hall with a shot. Scores! The icebreaker goes to Carolina.
Chris, I guess Taylor Hall's okay after that early hit and a little bit of a wince. But this has been a problem all series long. Offensive zone just inside the blue line, a turnover, and just not aware of Hall getting behind. And once again, you need a big save to start this game on home ice. So much of the talk about goaltending, panel was talking about it earlier. First really good chance, and it's Hall the shooter. Look at how Hart has lost his net. Look at all
I keep going back to this fake moment that I've conjured up in my own brain of a 17-year-old who's watched the Carolina Hurricanes their whole life, and they're a huge fan of that team, that brand, that name. And last night was a culmination of, well, we've been really good for a long time, but since I was born, in my existence, we haven't won the Stanley Cup. That came to an end. But not yet. It's only 1-0. The series has been marred by comebacks. Middle of the second period. Carolina. Jackson Blake. Yeah. You know that name? Jackson Blake makes it 2-0, and you can taste it.
Puck taken away by Jackson Blake. Stankoven tried to give it back. Intercepted. Blake there and Stankoven regains possession in front for Blake. Stankoven, and Hart got a piece of that. Stankoven again. Blake scores! Jackson Blake! And Carolina's got a 2-goal lead.
This is all about winning puck battles along the boards. Every coach will tell you games are won and lost in these little moments. A chance to clear the zone. It's a 3-on-2 at one point, but then 2 abandoned. Now it's a 2-on-1 for Carolina. Stankoven keeps it alive. A bouncing puck that almost gets a chance. A missed clear there by Hannaford, and then a bad break off the stick of Marner. It all started, though. You can't compound one mistake and add 2 more on top of it.
Blake, with his second goal of the Stanley Cup Finals, and a lot of the names that you're used to, a lot of the names you're like, oh, those are the guys who've been scoring. Those are the guys who've been dominating for Carolina in this postseason. I mean, you're used to, hey, well, Jordan Staal was so dominant. Logan Stankoven was so dominant. Sebastian Aho was so dominant. That's not exactly where the scoring had to come from last night for Carolina. It was a by committee. Let's get in there and scrap. 2-0. But again, I'm sitting there watching the game. I'm waiting. Like I can turn this thing off until the third period, because that's where we saw Carolina down 4-0, rally to send it into OT. We saw a couple of late goals from Carolina to send it into overtime in that Game 2 in the Lenovo Center in Raleigh. We've just seen weird things happen in this series, so I couldn't trust it yet until we get to the third period and you actually close it out. And in a little bit, I've got an empty net goal that does close it out, but I want to honor Brandon Bussey. With 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go, he cements himself as a Stanley Cup legend with an incredible save.
Flipped in on Bussey. I'm sure we've seen Jordan Staal for a while. It'll come back to Theodore. Bussey brings it up. Rebound. And Bussey somehow, from the seat of his pants, makes the stop. And Hurdle can't believe it.
That look by Hurdle says it all. Takes a quick peek up. He cannot believe. Not the first one. He had a good scoring chance there, but the rebound, the shot through, the rebound sitting right in the crease. A rolling puck gets from the seat of his pants. Watch Bussey gets both hands up, able to somehow stop that.
And remember, that's with 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining, and a great opportunity for Vegas to net their first goal. And Bussey's just like takes the puck off the chest, and he's sitting on his butt, both legs out, both hands out, just like, please, whatever I can. He's arguing, you can't move. You're sitting down, like just limbs and everything up, trying to block the puck, and he does. The effort he put together last night, there were a couple times, just didn't have a stick. He was so good. He did not start in goal in this series. It was the middle of the series where finally Rob Brindamore said, I know Freddie Anderson's been our guy, but we're going to go with Bussey and see what happens. What do you see what happened? This is what happened. Magic. He was incredible. He is what helped give the Carolina Hurricanes the cup. But the final goal, the empty net with just over a minute left in this, gave Carolina the first breath of it's going to happen.
The line with Aho and Svechnikov. Cut off here. Nick Ehlers in. Scores! And the celebration's going to be on here, both on the ice and on the bench.
Pretty awesome, huh? And that's not even the final call. From Sportsnet, here it is. First time in 2 decades you've heard these words. Carolina winners.
Stepping up is Dowd. The perfect storm in the 20th anniversary of their first title. Once again, the Carolina Hurricanes are Stanley Cup champions.
Those words are sweet to the ears of guys like Josh Graham, the kids that grew up in Carolina, the kids that watched that 06 Stanley Cup final and saw Carolina win it then with Rob Brind'Amour as a player and now a guy who's been there as the coach for nearly a decade to bring home that same hardware. You've cemented your place in hockey history. June 14th, 2026. You can never take it away from the Carolina Hurricanes. That is the date. They did it again, winning the Stanley Cup, defeating the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0 in Game 6 to capture their second Stanley Cup title. The victory marking the franchise's first in 20 years. That 2-decade breakthrough, falling short Eastern Conference Finals multiple times since 2019. The Carolina Hurricanes have gone year after year with regular season success, big story, this young player, this piece of hope, but getting over the hump and winning a title has been the one thing that felt unreachable, the one thing they just couldn't get to. And now Jordan Staal, 37 years, 277 days old, the oldest player to take the top honors and win the Stanley Cup as well. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a really good day. We will hear over the course of the show from post-game audio after the Stanley Cup, guys like Sebastian Aho, Brendan Bussey, the head coach, Rob Brind'Amour. We will hear from Mike Brown on winning an NBA title, Jalen Brunson finding a way, Victor Wembanyama saying that his team dominated the entire series against the New York Knicks, which, having led over 70% of the series, is somehow an okay take. As much as he got ragged on the internet, it's somehow a normal take. I mean, the Spurs did dominate a good portion of their contests against the Knicks, but when it mattered most, could not win, lost the series in 5. We'll get to all of it and a little bit more. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board today. When we come back, let's hone in, lock in, tap in. The New York Knicks are NBA champions for the first time in 53 years. It's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This.
A statement to start it off. The U.S. beats Paraguay and gives the nation.
Awu jwayelekile kanjani kodwa sensukwini zanamhlanje sibona kwenzeka kanjani amantombazane
She's a rich girl, she don't try to hide it. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. He's a poor boy, empty as a pocket with nothing to lose. Sing ta-na-na, ta-na-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Ta-na-na, ta-na-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. 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 say she's crazy, she got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Well, that's one way to lose these walking blues. Diamonds on the soles of your shoes. She was physically forgotten, but then she slipped into my pocket with my car keys. She said, you've taken me for granted because I please you, wearing these diamonds. And I could say, ooh, as if everybody knows what I'm talking about. As if everybody here would know exactly what I was talking about. I'm talking about diamonds on the soles of her shoes. She makes the sign of a teaspoon, he makes the sign of a wave. The poor boy changes clothes and he puts on aftershave to compensate for his ordinary shoes. And she said, honey, take me dancing, but they ended up by sleeping in a doorway by the bodegas and the lights on Upper Broadway, wearing diamonds on the soles of their shoes. And I could say, ooh, and everybody here would know what I was talking about. I mean, everybody here would know exactly what I was talking about. I'm talking about diamonds. People say I'm crazy, I got diamonds on the soles of my shoes, yeah. Well, that's one way to lose these walking blues. Diamonds on the soles of my shoes.
Touch yourself. And I was taking shots from the front and the back.
Big Gooner.
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you. From the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12, Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. It is Westwood One Sports. That's good. You know, Laura was the first ever board op. The streets forget. The day one of the Drake Toll Show was Laura Jimenez running the board, and we were figuring out December 28th, 2025, the day it all changed. We were figuring out a lot of stuff that day, and Laura was our fearless leader as we got there. As my boss sat to my left in my little weird corner chair in my office and watched the first show. And now in the middle of June, we've ended the NBA season. We've ended the NHL season, and we are off into summer, off into Major League Baseball. and for the football offseason. But before we get there, I think the rest of this week, and even further possibly, there's a theme, and that is not just the Carolina Hurricanes winning the Cup. It's not just the magical win by the Seattle Seahawks at the Super Bowl. It's this Knicks story, the way that the sports stories and champions of 2020, Michigan basketball has not been to the throne of college basketball in decades. We will get to some of the oddities of this year that have made it one of the best sports seasons I can remember. The Broncos played the Patriots in the AFC Championship. You know, there are things, storylines this offseason that are carried by the fact that 2026 has seen some odd champions. The Seattle, you didn't think Sam Darnold was going to win a Super Bowl. You didn't have that on your bingo card. The Carolina Hurricanes, you thought the Avalanche would be there. The Avs would win it. The Knicks, not the Knicks. The Thunder are going to continue what it's a dynasty they're building. Wrong. Huh. Instead, a smattering of champions that you did not expect have built what 2026 is. And the rest of this week is New York Knicks week. You know how hard it is for most of America? You're sitting right now in Anna, Texas, just outside of Dallas. And by the way, if you are, you can listen to the entirety of the Drake Toll Show on the Westwood One Sports app or on the Drake Toll Show YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. And as you sit there, you think, why would I ever root for New York? Feels like most of the country looks at New York City and New York sports and they don't laud it. They don't root for it. No one's like, oh, man, the underdog, New York. Don't hear that much, do you? But this week, it's what it felt like. It's what it felt like when I was in Jersey, just over the bridge, hanging out with diehard New York Knicks fans. These people who've lived their entire lives for the Knicks, watching their team. Whole cities were packed this weekend as the Knicks were on the road to win it all. And to feel that moment, I work with Chris Sachi. I got to spend Sachi with Locked On Knicks. He'll join the show later on. I got to spend that night, that moment with him, with his family. And these people, these New Yorkers, they eat, sleep, they breathe sports. In the middle of the hustle and bustle and New York, right? You care about the Mets or you care about the Jets, you care about the Giants. But everybody, they're not split. Everybody cares about the Knicks. And it took that team, that organization, that logo, 53 years to do it again. 53 years in a palace, Madison Square Garden, with that logo, the New York Knicks, the team that represents the city that never sleeps. And it took you 53 years. But the wait is over. Today, you are champions. Let's take you back to Saturday night. Mike Breen, his final call, poetic, as the Knicks win the NBA title.
Tony, if you're the Knicks, you just back up or you press up and immediately take a foul in the backcourt. You don't even have to foul. Now, 4-point lead. Here comes Fox. 5 seconds remaining. Fox to Wemby. Wemby tries a three, puts it up, off the mark. Anunoby to rebound. It's over. It's over. Knicks fans, this is not a dream. Your long, long wait has ended. Go ahead and cry. After 53 years, the Knicks are finally NBA champions once again.
Like, why am I smiling about the New York Knicks winning the NBA championship? I mean, I've told you before that I grew up a San Antonio Spurs fan and had a clear, back of my brain rooting interest for the Spurs. So what is it about the New York Knicks, this brand that shouldn't be lovable, shouldn't be seen as an underdog? They are New York, that makes us so happy, that brings us together. It's something like the World Cup to me. I'm seeing all these tweets out of those from South Korea or those from England, those from Germany, France, Brazil, who have taken on the United States for the World Cup, that are blown away by the cuisine, that are blown away by gas stations, that are blown away by how we do things here. And it makes you feel so proud of, man, despite some pretty terrible atrocities, and despite the United States not being perfect whatsoever, and still for many a place that's not conducive to the day-to-day. Every time I land, every weekend the airplane lands, I look at the gas prices on the gas station that sits right outside the airport and just see, all right, another 20 cents, great. That's what I'm up against this week. There's plenty to complain about, and there's plenty that I will never understand. But this week, these 2 weeks, seeing the love, the reverence that these people who are coming in from out of the country for the World Cup have for our sports, for our scene, for what America is, the United States is. That's what I look at. That's what makes me proud. Again. And it's something about the New York Knicks win that relates to that. That makes me feel that same way, that level of community that New York has found, the largest city in the United States, all agrees on one singular thing. That's what sports does. And everybody else around the country, somehow Victor Wembanyama made himself a villain, by the way. That didn't help his case, and certainly helped the Knicks gain more momentum. Everyone around the country looked at New York and said, you know what? Damn, that's kind of cool. I don't know how you got me rooting for New York as if they were an underdog, but that's kind of cool. And it was emotional when you're sitting at we went to one of those bars with the big screen, and this 60-foot screen on the wall, and all these Knicks fans, again, about 40 minutes outside the city, we're on the Jersey side, and all these Knicks fans, you're shoulder to shoulder, and the minute the game ends, and they had the audio on. Every good bar has the audio on. Mike Breen gives you the final call, and then here it comes. New York State of Mind blares over the speakers. And then as soon as it fades out, the DJ fades it perfectly into ba-na-na, start spreading the news. And everybody, strangers, arms around each other, swaying back and forth. Beer is all over the place. Everybody had thrown their drinks when the Knicks won it all. And you don't get that everywhere. There are a lot of passionate fan bases out there, but very few of them can unite a city of 10 million people toward one thing. I had chills. I took in the moment. Sports are back. Mike Brown took in the moment. Spoke courtside with the Knicks radio crew. The head coach of the New York Knicks, he was brought in for the deposed Tom Thibodeau. Mike Brown was brought in to win a title. He won that title. Here's what he had to say immediately after the game.
It's the buy-in. Our standard, it was a contract that I had everybody sign. Opening dinner night, and I still have it framed. Everybody's signature, from Mr. Dolan to Leon Rose, all the coaches, all the players, all the staff that was there that night signed it. And basically, it was about sacrifice, committing to sacrifice, having a competitive spirit, being connected, believing in each other in the process, while holding everybody accountable, even myself. I'm not above the law. I got to be held accountable too. And I told guys I told everybody that night, I would have more. If you're not going to abide by this, I'd have more respect for you to not sign it than to sign it and BS your way through the night and BS your way through this. And everybody bought in from day one, and that speaks volumes to all these guys as individuals, and especially the leadership on this team, starting with Jalen Brunson.
A contract. The guy who was hired for one reason. They didn't hire Mike Brown because he was nice. They did not hire Mike Brown because they thought, what a kind gentleman. They didn't hire him for his experience. They did not hire Mike Brown so that he could bring them a gap guy, get them to the next coach that wins them a title. They hired Mike Brown for one reason. We're going to go fire Tom Thibodeau, who's having a lot of regular season success, playoff success too. We're going to fire Tom Thibodeau because he cannot do the one thing we need, the one thing we want, the one thing we're married to, an NBA title. Who's going to do that? Mike Brown. Bring in Mike Brown, who has no titles as a head coach. One as an assistant in 2003. Let's bring in Mike Brown and tell him very clearly, you have one goal, one role as it pertains to your association with the New York Knicks, and that is win an NBA title, period. And in his first year in New York, after trailing a series, I was alive 2 months ago when the Knicks trailed the Hawks 2-1, and they were an afterthought in the East. I remember that. And everybody's saying, well, Mike Brown, you were hired for one reason, to win the title. And if you don't do it, if you lose to the Hawks, you're probably fired, and they'll find somebody else. They'll go pay somebody else to win the title. Mike Brown did it. He is an NBA champion as a head coach. And he could not have done it without that name he mentioned, Jalen Brunson. And Brunson's story, his dad as an assistant on the staff, his title at Villanova, then bringing teammates from that Villanova squad into New York and competing with them to being the J.J. Barea of the Dallas Mavericks, just this wily guard starting a quarter of his games, half his games, if that, to New York saying, do you want to be a guy who represents the entire city of New York? It's like, no, I'm just J.J. Barea. What do you mean? We'll take you, J.J. Barea, and turn you into Jalen Brunson. We'll turn you into a star of New York. Here is what Brunson had to say about finding a way, courtside, postgame.
We're going to find a way. Whatever you put in front of us, we're going to find a way. It doesn't matter. It does not matter whatsoever. We're going to find a way every single time we step on this court. Every time.
Congratulations, champ.
Thank you.
It was emotional. That's maybe the only coherent sentence he could get out that first time they put a microphone in his face, and you can understand it. You can understand why. For Jalen Brunson, the NBA champion, the guy who was overlooked. It's not supposed to happen for the 6'2" guy facing off against 7'4" Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Before the series started, the Spurs were minus 200 to win the NBA title. The money on San Antonio seemed easy, and Vegas loved the Spurs. They were the better team on paper, the better team in America's eyes, the court of public opinion. It's not like America was rooting for the Knicks to start this series. They were feeling out, okay, is Victor Wembanyama the next beloved star of our country, of our sport, or do we have to like the Knicks? And by the end of this, it wasn't a reluctance toward liking the Knicks. It was, wow, everybody's excited about this one idea. In a world where two teams did not harbor villains coming into the series, in a world where the storylines were all fairly positive, you needed to find some sort of conflict. And the conflict didn't come from the Knicks. It didn't come from everybody making a point and laugh. The Knicks are going to fall apart, point and laugh. New York fails again. No, instead the conflict came from Victor Wembanyama trying to create a villain. You're talking about the dude who reads books on the subway and journals and writes and is poetic. You think that guy can fake being a villain, conjure up being a villain? No. His rhetoric in the postseason, his rhetoric in the finals, I should say more specifically for Victor Wembanyama, was weird. He just sounded weird. Stop trying to make yourself the villain. It's not how villains work. You aren't a villain. You're 22 and you read books. Yes, you're 7'4". Yes, you're the best player in the universe. Yes, you are basketball. Throw you on the floor against anybody else, and man, you'll probably dominate. But Vic, you can't just look at the camera and say, well, I'm the villain. You can try, though. Immediately after the game, when he took the podium, he said that the Spurs dominated the whole series. Here's Wemby.
Every team you face so far, you guys always found a way to get over the top eventually. What did you learn about how hard it is to win the finals against this Knicks team where they kept coming up with answers? Brunson just could always score no matter what in the end.
I learned one of many things I learned is the margin of error is very, very thin. Our domination stints are absolute. We absolutely dominated for most of the series. But our errors, our mistakes, are punished so hard that we can't have ups and downs like this so much, you know. The ups are okay. The downs, it's the reason we lost.
An emotional Victor Wembanyama. The ups were good. The downs were not. It's good shout there, Vic. And he said that the Spurs dominated most of the series. Is that a fair statement? We'll break it down over the course of our 3 hours together today. When we come back, it's time for our biggest losers of the day. It is Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
A statement to start it off. The U.S. beats Paraguay and gives the nation...
It's getting to the point where I'm no fun anymore. I am sorry. Sometimes it hurts so badly I must cry out loud. I am lonely. I am yours. You are mine. You are what you are. You make it hard. Remember what we've said and done and felt about each other. Oh, babe, have mercy. Don't let the past remind us of what we are not now. I am not dreaming. I am yours. You are mine. You are what you are. You make it hard. Tearing yourself away from me now. You are free. And I am crying. This does not mean I don't love you. I do. That's forever. Yes, and for always. I am yours. You are mine. You are what you are. You make it hard. Something inside is telling me that I've got your secret. Are you still listening? Here is the lock and laughter, the key to your heart. And I love you. I am yours. You are mine. You are what you are. You make it hard. And you make it hard. And you make it hard. And you make it hard. Friday evening, Sunday in the afternoon. What have you Will you come see me Thursdays and Saturdays? Hey, 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 what have you got to lose?
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12. Last night, Addie, question. If I am saying, I'm being blunt, that's appropriate. FCC, we're good there?
Yeah. To be blunt?
Right. If I'm using that B word for other purposes, what does the FCC think of that?
It really depends that if some mom in Montana hears it and gets offended, then we get in trouble.
Right, because if I said nightmare blunt rotation, though, is that like a hipster? Do people
who
know?
cares now? You can say that, but who cares because you've already said it.
You just said it.
I said if I said it was more like if I was quoting other people that have said that.
He's blunt. That's the reason why. That's
last night ESPN had a quad box available. YouTube TV had a quad box available of the College World Series, the MLB, the Stanley Cup Final, and Banana Ball on ESPN. That's nightmare blunt rotation.
Interesting, per se.
That was my quad box last night.
Wow.
And I did watch the College World Series yesterday. Glued to the Texas Rangers. Thank you, NBC. NBC does a really good job. Are they the best baseball presentation to you right now?
NBC?
I like NBC a lot. Yeah.
I like MLB Network Radio. If I had to pick.
Okay. Television presentation for the MLB.
Who cares when you have MLB Network Radio?
Can you not tell me what your favorite channel to watch the MLB is?
Space City Home Network.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Errors
That's
last night. Yes, it is. I just didn't. I was looking for. Okay. I was looking like ESPN, NBC. Yeah, what you got?
Did you see, not ESPN, did you see the Rockies A score?
23 runs?
23 runs.
I was hoping that would be in the quickie. Yeah, that's, oof.
I'll put it in the quickie for you.
Oof. I did see that in between the Stanley Cup Final and the NBA title. New York Knicks, Carolina Hurricanes dominating the headlines today, but it's time for the biggest losers of the day. Let's get to it now. You just heard it. Victor Wembanyama saying the Spurs dominated a majority of the series, which the stat was 72% of the time the Spurs were leading in this series. KFC Barstool says, the Knicks winning a world championship is cool and all, but exposing the world to what an unlikable fraud Victor Wembanyama might be the best part of this. New York City, most hated people ever. And somehow this guy was more hateable. There can't be anyone left who likes this guy outside of Spurs fans. Addie, Victor Wembanyama, did he go too far? Did he create a villain out of himself by trying so hard to create a villain out of himself that he succeeded?
He succeeded, but I think he's just young. I think he's young and obviously upset. I mean, you're at the top in your sport. You're at the pinnacle of what you want, right? That's what you want to win is NBA Finals. And you didn't win it. So obviously he's going to be upset. He's young. He feels like he let his team down, definitely. He may not show that, but that's what he feels. And so I take this kind of stuff with a grain of salt because No offense, but we would all be acting the same way. We would all be upset.
So, does it feel, because to me, the way that I'm reading this, I think he's young and he's trying to be a villain. He keeps saying things at the podium like, we're going to win, everybody knows it, we dominated most of the series. He keeps saying things that are either a little tone deaf or as if he's trying to build a storyline out of this. Like, oh, if America wants a villain, if they want to hate somebody, it can be us. Is that fair? Is he ignorant to what he's doing? Or is this intentional Victor Wembanyama is trying to be a bad guy?
No, I think it's more ignorance than anything.
Okay.
I think we need some PR training.
Yes.
The Texas Tech School of Public Relations.
21-minute podcast. Victor Wembanyama apologizes for statements during the NBA Finals. Oh, speaking of apologies, biggest losers of the day. Nachos, Lemonheads, James Harden's gun. ESPN reports Cavaliers guard James Harden was arrested early Saturday morning in Houston and has been charged with a misdemeanor unlawful carrying of a weapon. You know, Addie, I've been alive for not that long, but 25 years. I've seen a good portion of the country at this point, thanks to the flying every weekend to different parts of America. And I've learned that most everyday people don't just have one strapped on themselves. NBA players, even maybe at the highest capita, you would think it'd be MLB guys. Because remember the whole like political interview they did where Major League Baseball is like 90% conservative. You think those dudes they got some guns in the safe, you know, to get Chipper Jones and go hunting.
I got some guns.
Yeah. NBA players love a good gun, man. They just love to have one of those hanging around.
I got two. Arrest me. Oh, I would hate it if a good-looking cop came in here and arrested me. That would suck.
You have two guns?
Yeah.
I doubled the size of it, you dumb person.
It's biceps she's talking about. James Harden had a real gun that could kill people and has been arrested. He got arrested.
It's Texas. No? Was he in Texas? Where was he?
He was in Houston. That's a good point. So you're on James Harden's side in this one for just having a gun.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that as a Texan, I feel like everybody has a gun. So that's just funny that he was arrested. I mean, there's probably a reason why it was him and not Dale out in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, right. Because my friend Sammy in Lorena carries his gun as well, just in case the ghost of Billy Joe Schaefer walks into a bar. And that guy I've always respected for having one. Harden had one and was taken into custody at 3:41 a.m. when it was just laying out in the seat of a car he owns and was just out of a holster and sitting there. Oops. Can't do that. James Harden arrested. In the words of Andy Reid, you know, we feel great. We're really excited. He's going to be an awesome asset when he comes back to the team after he gets out of jail. That was Reid's comments last week on Rashi Rice. Yeah, we're really excited to get him back from jail. James Harden, a misdemeanor on this one. Biggest loser of the day, the reflecting pool. Oh, the reflecting pool, Washington, D.C., right in front of the Lincoln Memorial, currently experiencing an algae outgrowth, indicating high pH conditions. Such a high pH is known to strip paint, potentially ruining the $14 million renovation from the Trump administration on the reflecting pool. We did not drain the swamp on this one. We created a swamp. What happened was, I'm reading the scientists, Trump goes in, repaints the reflecting pool, and he's like, wouldn't it be more beautiful if we had like a darker, more oceanic shade of blue? Turns out the dark blue attracts sunlight and produces more heat and creates algae.
It came in so fast and so hard.
So for America 250, the pool was green. Biggest winners of the day. Sickos Committee tweets out, I need y'all to hit mute on the TV for 30 seconds and watch a clip of the most Scottish people I've ever seen coming into Boston. Here is a bunch of men wearing kilts here for the World Cup.
Scottish fans are known for three things: their kilts, their chants, and their libations.
Been drinking since, what time did I get up this morning? 1 o'clock in the morning I got up.
That's when some fans began heading to the airport, bound for the U.S., bound for the World Cup.
We ran out of beer. That's my only complaint.
The pilot telling us when the beer ran out, he switched to wine.
So I'm going to go and have a nice whiskey at my digs, and then I'm going to go out and hit the town. I'm going to find Cheers. That's what I want to do. I want to find Cheers.
I'm going to find Cheers. I'm going to find Cheers.
What?
I love that they sold out of beer on their flight from Scotland to Boston. Had to switch to wine. Gonna go find Cheers. That's a good drop. It's a good drop. Addie, I said it at the top of the show. I think the World Cup being in the United States is actually way cooler than I thought it'd be this congested, clogged conglomerate of tourists. But no, it's actually awesome.
Don't tell Josh Graham that. On Friday night, he was talking about how you got to say football. We're in America. You got to say football, blah, 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 even if you're coming from overseas. But my favorite part is all these people. We have the Japanese people going to Mexican restaurants and experiencing chips and salsa for the first time. This is what it's all about.
For free? No way. For free? The Japanese people. Okay. Yes, we have the Japanese people going to Mexican restaurants. The Germans going to Buc-ee's.
Yeah, and Waffle House.
It's pretty great. There is a lot of content farming going on. I think most of it is probably AI. They aren't actual human beings from other countries here. But I'm going to choose to believe. In the World Cup. As my Santa Claus right now. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Addie Bates produces today. Those are your biggest losers and biggest winners of the day. When we return, it's time for our obituaries. Who died today? Not Mexican restaurants. This is the Drake Toll Show.
This
is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization and Locked On Big 12. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Addie Bates produces. Good morning, everybody. 310-840-4910. You can get involved, text or call the show. 310-840-4910. Is this the most sports unified we've been as a country in a while? I can't think thank you, Sping Bing. I can't think of any time, because I think everybody kind of rallied around the Knicks, which is weird. And usually, like if the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, I think most of the country would hate that.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Most people, and the Knicks to me are kind of the Cowboys of basketball. Like, oh, everybody wears the logo. Everybody's got the Knicks hat on. Everybody's got the shirt on, and they're easy to hate.
That's how I feel about the Lakers.
The Lakers are the Yankees, though. The problem is they win. That's the only thing that keeps them being.
They haven't in a long time.
The Lakers won 5 years ago.
That's a long time.
Okay.
I couldn't drink yet.
Okay. I don't guess I could either, but I don't think that.
Laura's
babies.
Like, I know Laura's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
Bye.
Long time ago. I don't know I can't. I think Cowboys we're in a category with like the Sixers, the Knicks. You're loud and everyone wears your stuff, but you don't win a lot. And for America to be rooting for that, and by the way, if the Cowboys won or if the Sixers won, I think New York fans would be ticked off. You're missing 10 million people because the Knicks fans just Knicks. And the fact that they won and that America liked that they won, pretty rare. And it puts us in this sports territory and Carolina winning. You can't hate Carolina. You can't hate Aho or Stahl or Brenda Moore. These are two really hard-to-hate champions right now. Are we as unified, World Cup included, as a sports nation as we've ever been? I'm getting a nod from Laura.
Fight?
Yeah, but I thought the UFC fight was kind of a non-factor last night. And a piece of that is because I was asleep. If you're awake right now, it's 7:02 and 46 seconds Eastern time. If you're awake right now, 310-840-4110. I'm happy to
That's not the number. Try again.
310-840-4910. You can text or call the show. Were you up last night for the UFC fight?
This guy stinks!
Drake, I could see it from my old apartment when I was packing. I could see the neon lights looking like Spider-Man over the town.
The octopus thing? The big octopus?
Yes, I could see that. It looked like I was right next to like the county fair.
Like in the cartoons when they would, drop a cage over the White House or whatever. We're gonna steal the president.
It's okay. People are starving, but I want my tax dollars.
If it was Saturday night, surely there would have been banana ball guys. Somebody would have turned it on and been on TV. It was not Saturday night. It was last night, and I had work today. In fact, most of America had work today. Why are we doing it outdoors? I thought the Weather Channel being like, "Hey, it's going to rain," and the White House is like, "This is liberal." It's like the Weather Channel was like, "Hey."
By the way, it did rain. It did rain last night. It did
60% chance of rain, and immediately the White House's PR team was like, "The woke media wants to tell you there's rain." It's weather, dog. That's nothing political about weather. Sorry. No, I didn't catch much of that last night because I was asleep. Otherwise, I would be happy to. We can talk about the UFC. I don't really care if that's what the court of public opinion is revolving around, but I thought today would revolve more around, and I think it does revolve more around the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Knicks. But yes, those things combined with the World Cup, I do think we're in a pretty good sports environment because the nation's like, all right, cool. And that we're not usually like that. We're usually mad at something. We're mad at the Astros for the trash can thing that was probably a little overblown in hindsight. Oops. Or we're mad because the MLB's dying. Oh, the Texas Rangers win. Blah. Or we're mad because the Raptors won. They're from Canada. Or we're mad because the Florida Panthers are the Florida Panthers. And they're just a weird team to root for. Like, where are they? Florida.
Don't forget
what
the
city?
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Florida.
Don't forget when they went back to back.
The Tampa Bay Lightning went back-to-back. Yes, but that was around the time the Lakers won a title, and everybody hated the Lakers. I think Sam Darnold's hard to hate. That's what it is. That's what it is. Our champions this year are Sam Darnold and Jalen Brunson. And 5 years ago, they were both ass. And now they're winning. And now they're winning championships at the top level. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Are we still talking about Sam Darnold though? That's the problem though. It's just like people forget.
People do forget. People do forget. This is going to be this could end up being pretty forgettable because of the lack of star power.
Yeah.
Lack of star power. Nope. Jalen Brunson lacks the star power in the name. He's not Antetokounmpo. He's not Jokic. He's not Luka. He's not Wemby. He's not SGA. Like, those are the guys we've been talking about the last few years, and then some. Jalen Brunson's name doesn't fit in that category yet. Is he better than them? Probably. Won the NBA title, going away as the MVP. Like, that's stuff that those dudes aren't doing right now. But have we talked about Brunson in the same vein as LeBron and Steph? No. Can we? Sure. Have we? No. That's why you're correct. It's a very good point, very good counterpoint. Will this fade? Possibly. It's time for today's obituaries. Dead today, the Japanese not having an understanding of American Mexican food. Or should I say American Mexican restaurants? That's some misnomer there, but Nobunaga tweets, USA, a Mexican restaurant. We had not yet ordered anything, and the food was already arriving. Chips, salsa, unrequested, free. I stopped the waiter. We have not earned these. They just come with the table, man. What do you mean they come with a table? This one Japanese poster. Could be AI. Could be AI. Very impressed with the free chips and salsa to begin their dinner at the Mexican restaurant.
They should be. It's the greatest thing ever.
If I was to sit down in a Mexican restaurant in Mexico City at, or as they call it there, a restaurant, do I just get free chips and salsa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chips and salsa for everybody.
So why are they, right, why is this being made into specifically an American thing?
There's a lot of Mexicans here. I don't know.
Because that's where they're at. That's where they're at right now.
Exactly, that too.
Yeah.
Like, if they were in Canada at a Mexican restaurant and a Mexican restaurant was doing that, they'd be like, this is great. The Canadians do this. Yeah, exactly, because it's too cold. It's too cold. We don't travel that far north.
Yeah, I just didn't. It felt like I was like, okay, well, if they do that in Mexico too, shouldn't those who are from Japan coming here also give credit to Mexico?
The Koreans are loving Mexico right now.
Really?
Yes. They love it.
Their tequila, and yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow. Dead today. A deal with Iran? The CNN aired a montage of claims the U.S. was coming through with a deal, and as of today, I don't think we have a deal.
We have major points of agreement. They want to make a deal, and we are very willing to make a deal.
Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure when they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal.
They want to make a deal so badly. I do see a deal in Iran. We were very close to a deal.
I think it's close to over, yeah. I mean, I view it as very close to over.
It's looking very good that we're going to make a deal with Iran, and it's going to be a good deal. This process should go very quickly. We're going to end that war very quickly. They want to make a deal so badly. We think we're close to a deal, and that's okay. We're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal.
Today makes 39 times that he has said something like that.
I doubled the size of it, you dumb person.
Anderson Cooper. Did you know Anderson Cooper's a Vanderbilt?
Yes.
You just find that out?
Yes, that's common knowledge. His mom is Gloria.
It's not as common knowledge as you would think it is. I have known since probably 8th grade, Quiz Bowl.
What?
But it is not as common as you would think.
What?
It's still a fun little game to throw out there at a dinner party.
Anyway.
Is it Anderson Cooper, the Vanderbilt? Asheville, North Carolina? Vanderbilt Empire? Which cat is that?
Does this look like Big Sin?
I don't know. That's the one with the cartoon face? Cartoon Dynamite blew up in his face? Yeah, that's the cartoon Dynamite blew up in his face.
Just going to eat the microphone.
That's a good little sniff right there out of the cat.
Hey.
Oh, good old work from home. Got the dogs with me. Those are our obituaries. Time for the Quickie Top 5 headlines in all of sports. Addie Bates reads them. Drake Toll responds.
Carolina Hurricanes end amazing ride with second Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Oh, I didn't like
the idea that they got it done off the back of Brandon Bussey, who is not a name coming into this series I thought they would need. Freddie Anderson was set to be in goal for the series, and that switched in the middle of the series. Sebastian Aho didn't score yesterday. Ehlers had a goal, which that's down the middle, but didn't see one from Stahl, Stankoven. It was a different set of names. I thought Carolina clinched it yesterday with guys who we have not talked about as much, like a Jackson Blake or a Taylor Hall, and that's pretty awesome. I think Carolina is an agreeable team to win it. 2 decades in the making. Rob Brindamore is the head coach. Carolina's tough to hate to me, and they knocked off Vegas, who would have oddly been in the conversation of dynasty if the Golden Knights won, but they didn't. Carolina wins. They hoist the Stanley Cup. Big day, a couple states away from me.
Ooh, bad day for Wemby, as he says, losing in finals was the biggest lesson of his life.
What's the lesson? You know, I guess that's my question here is you either win or you lose. What is the lesson? It's easy to say that's the biggest lesson of my life. What's the lesson? Learn me. Teach me. Tell me. What did you learn? What do you need? What would you do differently? What lesson how did you not learn the lesson after game 3? Was there no lesson? After every single time you kept giving up leads, substantial double-digit leads, 29-point lead. What was the lesson after game 4, after game 5? What is it? Well, I learned a big lesson. You didn't learn because you kept letting it happen. If you're a superstar, a bona fide superstar, and yes, you led your team here against Oklahoma City, who many would consider to be substantially better than the New York Knicks. Was that your NBA title? Was that your NBA Finals? I was promised the team out of the West was going to win it going away whenever they got to the NBA Finals. Why couldn't you have learned this lesson after you gave up a 29-point lead and lost a game on the road? Why did the lesson have to come after Game 5? I don't like that. If you can explain to me what the lesson is and tell me how you learned it and what you learned and what's going to be different, that I can agree with and respect. He didn't do that. Don't like it.
Wemby, if you're listening, what I gathered from that is when he said, learn Drake. Yes, go see Drake Toll. Learn Drake. Well, the Colorado Rockies hit the jackpot and scored 23 runs in Vegas Heat.
Can you explain to me, I guess it's baseball time now, can you explain to me why they're playing this series in Vegas, which is not the home ballpark of the Athletics?
Yeah, so they're obviously building their new ballpark over there.
And
but
they're moving quick. I was in Vegas 2 months ago, and it's moving.
Oh, yeah. And it's what they're trying to do is just kind of give like a sneak peek and play a couple different series out there at the minor league ballpark, which is like a nice little ballpark.
It's
out
good
there.
ballpark.
It's really cute.
I've been twice. It's a really
funny
good ballpark.
though is just because of the elevation out there and everything and the heat. I just think, have you seen how many runs have been scored in all of these games so far? You remember the Brewers one when it was like 4 to 5 hours?
Yeah, that was also in Vegas, wasn't it? That was a wild game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 15-14. That Brewers won in extras. Some of these are more normal scores. We've done banana ball out there the last 4 years, I think. It's a really nice ballpark. It is. They did a great job with it. It's far off the strip, too, which I kind of appreciate. I just don't... I guess I doubted Vegas being conducive to professional sports with the Raiders, and they've done a pretty good job at being a sports city. So I'll give them a chance here. I'll believe in them. As much as, I'm sorry, as much as Oakland was upset with the A's leaving, they weren't really showing up to games or driving revenue. I get there are a myriad of reasons, but the whole crux of this is to make money. They're going to make money in Vegas.
How can you not? How can you not? I'm sure there are listeners in Vegas right now listening to us. So you know what?
Oh, wait, today? Is today our Vegas debut, or is that later?
Westwood One!
Do we know?
Maybe.
Let's just pretend it is.
That was a real question. I didn't.
Just
Greg,
run,
I am
run
just the producer.
Okay, great.
All right, UFC at White House was a success, but never again, Dana White says.
Yeah, I mean, the photos are cool. They're very guy dude photos. And I think the novelty of 250th anniversary of the United States existing is one that it's worth putting on a party for, and that was the goal. Dana White said that. Hey, 3 a.m., he's at the podium this is 4 hours ago, he said these things. The article on ESPN was posted at 6:30 this morning, less than an hour ago, Eastern time, and Dana White said, I can't afford it. I'll never do the Sphere again. We'll never do this again. It was a one-time deal, one of a kind, one-of-one event. And he said that in every way you can gauge success, this was a success. And White declined to provide specifics, but indicated UFC hit the numbers it sought for its $60 million production. So if it was profitable and some people liked it, great. I am void of an opinion on having a UFC fight on the White House lawn. I don't have the capacity to care about that right now.
That's a minute. Here's your final headline. New Giannis trade rumors update buzz involving Heat and Celtics.
If Giannis is traded to the Celtics, they will be the most hated basketball brand on earth. There'll be some KD to the Warriors of that. They're just like, okay, come on. Okay, come on. If he goes to the Heat, I could see him fit because Bam Adebayo, who dropped 80 points this year, by the way, streets forget. Bam Adebayo and the Heat are kind of overlooked for not having a Giannis-esque star. Bam hasn't become that, name. Is Bam a top 10 player in the NBA? Very good chance, but the average 12-year-old doesn't think that. They're still like, oh, Steph Curry, LeBron James. How do you rebrand around a guy named Bam Adebayo? And can you? Haven't been able to yet. You sure can around Giannis. I think it'd be a better move for the NBA if he's a member of the Miami Heat. Come to find out, unlike Diana Rossini, I have no bearing on what happens here. I cannot sway either team in either direction.
That we know of.
Or the player, yep. I am not quietly hanging out with Eric Spoelstra, I assure you.
Drake is a big fan of Utah. He's out there. He goes out to Utah.
What would that have to do with?
Isn't that where the resort was in Utah?
Sedona, Arizona.
Arizona. You also like Arizona.
I do like Sedona a lot. It's a beautiful city.
So who knows? Who knows? Drake could be out there.
I do have a trip coming up with Jason Tatum to Sedona to a sexy couples retreat. I could probably convince him to get Giannis to Boston. Also, dozens were arrested in New York after they burned that bus down. Don't leave your bus out. Don't leave your bus in the street, in the middle of the street after the Knicks win the NBA Finals, huh? Lesson learned. Who left a school bus in just the middle of the street? Idiots, man. Idiots. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Addie Bates produces. That was the Quickie. Top 5 headlines in all of sports. When we come back, the New York Knicks are NBA champions. Here's why this is the most significant championship in a decade in the National Basketball Association. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Time
carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free, right through the revolution. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free, right through the revolution. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future.
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Addie Bates produces. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization and Locked On Big 12. And is Jalen Brunson a Mount... Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. The NBA Finals just happened. It's over as of 48 hours ago, and here's morning radio host asks, is so-and-so player Mount Rushmore? Is Jalen Brunson a New York sports great? I mean, even his father doesn't quite think so. Rick gave the quote of saying, I love my son, but I think Patrick Ewing's the greatest to ever do it in New York. It's like, I don't have to say that. Nobody made you say that. You can just not. Where does Jalen Brunson rank? Because I want to reiterate that his name does not ring the same way that other NBA stars do. I would not consider him to be this star prototype, right? The Knicks didn't win it with a bona fide star, with a guy who, he's drafted 3rd overall, and everybody knew coming out of Kentucky that guy was going to be a great NBA player. Everybody knew one day Cade Cunningham would catch on. Victor Wembanyama was set to be a star. That was not the case for Jalen Brunson. And by the way, Ozzy Osbourne, a little crazy train bringing us in, used to listen to 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock, Arkansas. At the hour, every morning they play Crazy Train. And that was every morning. Pop-Tart, Capri Sun, and a little morning talk radio. You're right here with us on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Sirius XM 375. You can listen live all day long on the Westwood One Sports website or that app. Is Jalen Brunson a New York great? If you had to build a Mount Rushmore of New York stars, and I've told you I'm very anti-Mount Rushmore, anti-top 5, but are you talking about a name, a Brunson, that in the annals of sports history in the biggest city in the United States, that he is the guy? We sat around and kicked around that conversation with Chris Sacchi of Locked On Knicks, who will join the show later, talk to Buddy. It's one of the great bar conversations. Where does Jalen Brunson rank? I want to make a case for him. But as I make this case for him being a New York great, a New York legend, a Mount Rushmore, a top 5, a top 10, whatever you want to put it as, I want you to think about these names. Think about the names. Babe Ruth, Lawrence Taylor, Derek Jeter. Think about Joe DiMaggio. Think about, I said, Eli Manning. Laughing at it. I laughed that guy out of there. There's no Eli Manning. Well, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 2 historic upsets against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. 2 times he brought a Super Bowl ring to New York. Well, East Rutherford to New York. Clyde Frazier, Jackie Robinson, the Brooklyn Dodger. Consider what these greats have meant, what Patrick Ewing means to the sport. And consider those names in the history of New York, the titles that came from the New York Yankees greats, and what they are to the city that never sleeps. Here's my case for Jalen Brunson. The man, the catalyst, who just led his team to a title for the first time in 53 years in New York. Brunson scored 45 points. Half the team's points came from Jalen Brunson in the game that clinched the NBA Finals. The only other human being to ever exist and do that, score 45 in a series clincher, is Michael Jordan. You know that name. Jalen Brunson just did that. And he ends a half-century drought. First time since 1973. I wasn't born. My parents were not born. Oh, young radio host. Yes, we've been over that. That's the last time the Knicks had won it all. 73. He left $113 million on the bargaining table to provide the Knicks with financial flexibility to build a championship roster. He is one of the most selfless, impactful leaders. And a move like that is proof of such. One of the most selfless leaders in professional sports history for what he's done for New York. From saying, I'll take a... If you told me tomorrow my contract with the radio station, with the Bananas, with Locked On is being cut by $113, I'd probably be like, oh, well, shoot, where do I make that up? He left $113 million on the table. I said, you guys can keep that. I want to win a title. That's what he's done off the floor to cement himself as a New York legend. Then that masterpiece. 13 consecutive points down the stretch. That 45-point performance. Only guys like Michael Jordan are in that conversation. Leading a Knicks team, the comeback Knicks. Of course, they're going to do it again. Down by 16 against San Antonio. But it's the comeback Knicks. I add, when 40 minutes outside of New York, as this is going down on Saturday, I wrap up a game, a banana ball game in Jersey. We're on the Jersey Shore with the party animals and Loco Beach Coconuts. Wrap up the game, immediately go back to the hotel. By the time I shower, The Knicks have gone, this is a 4-minute shower, tops. The Knicks have gone from down by 10 to tying the game. Thanks to Jalen Brunson. They overcame double-digit deficits in every single one of their 4 finals victories. Jalen Brunson helped the Knicks overcome double-digit deficits in every game of their 4 finals victories. That mental fortitude defines New York sports greatness. It defines Jalen Brunson being on the list of a New York great. And when you deliver a championship, a finals MVP to that city, Brunson is no longer just a star player. You have achieved immortality. You have achieved the moniker of one of the greatest sports figures in New York history. You are a part of New York lore for life. When I was growing up in Arkansas, we had history of Arkansas. You had to take it in 8th grade. Everybody, state mandate. And you learned the Native Americans that had first established, the original Europeans, how they got up the Mississippi River, established the port, Arkansas City. And step by step, decade by decade, you learn the history of the state. 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, as kids in New York are reading the history of New York, as kids in New York are reading their history book that talks about New York, whether it's the city, the state, they will read the chapter, they will read the pages on the resurgence of sports in the city, led by a guy named Jalen Brunson. And that's the craziest part, is Aaron Judge is already a name, man. He's already at the top of sports. Where's the ring? If you want to get out of the New York market and talk about NBA players specifically even, like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, a Jokic, a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a Wembanyama. If you want to talk about a LeBron or a Curry who are still in the NBA, these stars of the last decade who we've talked about, Luka Doncic, and I've omitted a few. But if I built a top 8, a top 10, hey, here are the names that still carry the NBA. Here are the names that a kid in Carson City, Nevada is buying the jersey of. That kid's got a Steph jersey. That kid might have a LeBron jersey. That kid might love Giannis Antetokounmpo or Jason Tatum. Jalen Brunson's name has not been in that category the last 5 years in the NBA. Again, his stats parallel that of J.J. Barea. There was never a time where we looked at J.J. Barea and said, well, if we brought him to Milwaukee, Minnesota, if we brought Barea to Oklahoma City, if we could just trade for Barea here in Charlotte, surely we'd win an NBA title. But Jalen Brunson became that in New York. Can you conceptualize? Do you feel it? Does it give you that same kind of, whoa, hit you, take you back a little bit, make you think when you hear the words New York Knicks, NBA champions? New York Knicks, winners of the finals in the National Basketball Association. No national radio host has turned on the morning show. Got a little setup here. Boop, boop, plug the microphone in, headphones in, bam, Laura Jimenez shows up, Addie's here, and then you get on the air and you say the New York Knicks are champions of the NBA. No one has said that in 53 years. And because of a 6'2" guard from Villanova that was never a star, wasn't drafted to be a star, wasn't a guy who was supposed to succeed at the highest level of the NBA, wasn't supposed to lead a team to a championship, because that name, that guy, that figure became that. For the first time in 53 years, words are being spoken that are true again. That is the mark of immortality. That is a mark of a star in New York City. When we come back, we will give you our Idiots of the Day, followed by Chris Sachi, joining the program from Locked On Knicks. Josh Graham, Westwood One Sports, will talk the win for the Carolina Hurricanes last night, live from Carolina. All of that and more right here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. This is the Drake Toll Show.
A statement to start it off. The
the belly face down on the mattress one, and you hold me, and we are broken. Still excited, I wanna do just a little. Now feel myself heavy off the ground. I'm scared, I'm not coming down. No, no, and I won't run from my life. She's got the toss now locked down in a smile, but nothing is alright, alright. Something else to get me through this life, baby. I want something else. Not listening when you say
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Laura Jimenez runs the board today, and touch yourself. This is good. We're so back, man. Addie Bates produces. This is the Drake Toll Show. I from the Savannah Bananas organization and Locked On Big 12. And Addie asked a question right before we came out of break right there. How much time do I spend? What was the verbiage? I want to get it right. I don't want to misquote you here.
How many hours a day do you spend watching Banana Ball highlights? Because it's certainly during every break of this show. I hear them.
So
every day.
My friend Chaito, Jose Benitez, had posted
Do you
a video
call him Taco?
on. No. But he likes it when we do. Yeah, it's something he likes.
So he does. I know my little blonde-haired banana friend over there. Come on.
I do not call my one Puerto Rican friend Taco. So let the record show. Let the record show.
Puerto Ricans don't have tacos, anyways.
Right. So right. I knew that.
In Bologna, Arkansas, they're all the same.
They're all brown.
I do not call. I do not call my friend Chaito Taco. I was listening. So Instagram does this silly thing. I don't like this, actually. I don't like this feature, but I get why they do it, where they take every one of his Spanish radio calls and they AI translate to English. So you're scrolling and it makes it sound like he's saying these things in English, which is pretty disappointing. And I would rather listen to his electric call, his voice. And so this isn't even his voice either. Look at
Eric Jones Jr. It is a home run. And what a way to do it!
That's not him. That's an AI representation of his voice translated to English. That's terrible. I hate that feature. Surely I could turn it off somehow. So that's what I was scrolling through in the break, and he had been challenged by our socials department, like, hey, could you use these certain phrases that these Spanish broadcasters have used for the World Cup? And so walk-off home run, Bananas lose the game. He said, Eric Jones Jr. of the Firefighters sends the Savannah Bananas to do the dishes. I think that's so good, man. That's really, really good from Jose. So, no, I spend very little part of my day watching Banana Ball highlights. Thank you, though.
Yeah, okay. It's just during every break. So I guess we get to spend that part of your day with you.
This is my only time to doom scroll on social media is during the breaks.
That is not true. Yesterday, I was moving furniture up here, and I kept getting, Drake Toll sent you a post. Drake Toll sent you a post.
Yeah, how else do you think we're going to build the biggest losers of the day and idiot of the day?
Version, that is Drake's show prep. It's sending me a million Twitter links at one time. Sometimes I'll text him. There have been some times I'm like, Drake, it is a Saturday. Stop texting me. Stop sending me stuff.
I'm preparing the show for Monday. I am ready. I'm getting ready for Monday.
It has to be a weekend, man.
I'm ensuring that we have plenty of content for our Idiot of the Day.
Idiot of the Day.
It's tough to get around this one. Idiot of the Day. Those who think that war typically ends in negotiation. Here is the vice president, who's very clear on how war ends.
Kristen, this is how wars ultimately get settled. If you go back to World War II, if you go back to World War I, if you go back to every major conflict in human history, they all end with some kind of negotiation.
What? See, because I was a history minor, and the negotiation after World War II featured one of the world leaders doing, he took what James Harden had in his car and left the rest to be decided by himself. Hitler did the whole and then Japan took the nuclear bombs, and then they also were like, okay, we're done, we're good. That's a good point. So one side.
What about the other one? What about the Italian? What happened to him?
Don't forget them.
I think he is still in a power line somewhere in a countryside in Italy. So if I remember right, those negotiations weren't much negotiations. They were more every world leader is dead except for ours. So we do continue. We are still at war. Anderson Cooper told us 39 times it has been said by the president that we're close to a negotiation. But to say that every major conflict in human history has all ended in negotiation, no. Most of them died.
39 times. that close. We're just edging negotiations at this point.
We are edging. That's a good headline.
It came in so fast and so hard.
Edging negotiations. Idiot of the day, Victor Wembanyama. It pains me, but here is, it's short, sweet, how he ended his press conference on Saturday. See y'all never.
Appreciate y'all. See y'all never.
Oh, yeah, mic drop. See y'all never. Patty, the edgy 22-year-old Victor Wembanyama got our asses. He told us.
Told you, just need some PR training. He's young. Probably just had his first beer recently.
Russ FCB on Twitter says, tried Aura gambling all finals, went 0 for 5, and he can't lose with grace. Worst example of a superstar ever. I don't think Victor Wembanyama did himself any favors in this finals. And like when Kobe lost to finals, it's easy in my brain to root for Jordan, to root for Kobe. I like rooting for LeBron because I like greatness. LeBron's a goofy, awkward guy. He's a weird character. We know that. We understand that. I think Wemby's going for that. He's just failing really hard.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I've seen worse reactions after losing, by the way. Like, it takes a lot to lose with grace. And, yeah, just give it some time. Give it some time. I honestly think it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. Truly, we should focus on the Knicks winning versus Wemby being a little kid.
Sure. But Jokic, when he loses, he gets to the podium and he's like, I'm going to hang out with my horses. Goodbye. I never did want to be here anyway. This is stupid and I hate it. I'm done. He's not trying. Jokic isn't trying anything. He's just being himself. He's telling you straight up he just wants to go hang out with the ponies. I think Wemby's trying to be this edgy character, and he's not that guy. If I can give any advice to Victor Wembanyama, who's listening today, I'm still rooting for you. I don't think you're as much of a villain as you're trying to make yourself. Please stop. Just be normal.
Drake Cannon Tolles says, please stop. Just be normal. Banana Boy.
Idiot of the day, Rainn Wilson, says that the world's gone too woke for The Office. Here's what he had to say.
I do feel like you couldn't make The Office today. I think that would be too hard to be as politically incorrect as the show was. I think there has been a bias in the media towards more what we call liberal policies. They're willing to overlook the Plattner Nazi tattoo, but if it was someone from the other side that had a tattoo that was questionable, they would be all over MSNBC about it. So it's the hypocrisy that gets me the most. It's the hypocrisy of like both sides need to have kind of equal standards of behavior.
I guess I'm a bit confused here because isn't South Park on national TV every week?
Yes.
But The Office is too, because South Park, The Office reruns on Comedy Central every day, 15 times a day. And last I checked, South Park is way edgier than The Office. Who died and told Rainn Wilson that The Office is edgy and that we're too woke for The Office?
It's so edgy. We were able to replicate it with Parks and Rec. The exact same thing. The exact same concept. Multiple times we've done it now.
No, and they're creating like a multiverse within this show.
They're still making The Office somehow.
Yeah.
I think this one's called Paper Company.
Yep.
I think it might actually just be called Paper Company.
And they just made like a Mexican version. There's The
Yeah.
Office Mexico. So it's essentially the same
Oficina.
thing. Oficina.
And I do think a piece that I want to give Rainn Wilson a bit of a reprieve here. I do think he's saying this stuff because everybody who's been irrelevant not that Rainn Wilson's been necessarily irrelevant, but he hasn't been in. The last 10 years, what has he done? Name one thing. I'm not rooting against him, but name one thing. You probably, once you get done with that run, 10 years later, you want everybody. Remember, guys, how edgy we were? You can't pull it off today. What we did something special for our time. Like, no.
John Krasinski's done a lot of stuff. Steve,
Right, yeah.
he's always been in stuff. So, yeah, it is one of those things. Like, you feel left out of the group. So
Jenna
now we're
Fisher.
old. Yeah.
Angela Wilson. At the very least, that podcast blew up. Their podcast did super well. Steve Carell. I mean, come on, dude.
Now Rain's old man yells at cloud.
Yeah, he was in the Weird Al Yankovic biopic deal they did with Daniel Radcliffe. Nathaniel
Wasn't
Radcliffe.
that like on
Daniel
Tubi
Radcliffe?
or something?
No, it ended up
we don't
having
hate on
Jack Black. They had a pretty good cast with it. Well, the reason it was such a good cast is because Weird Al's beloved, and so a bunch of characters in Hollywood were like, "Yeah, we'd love to be in this." And that's the last thing I can really think about for Rainn Wilson. But I believe a piece of this is him just saying, "Hey, I haven't been relevant in a long time. Remember me, guys? Remember Dwight? Remember from The Office, the weird guy? Back when we were so edgy. Can't do that anymore, can you?" Like, all right, come on. Idiot of the day. All of us in 2014, Roos tweets, Obama term 2 really did have some of the worst music drops of all time, because 12 years ago, Meghan Trainor released All About That Bass. Back in 2014, here's what we were listening to. Happy by Pharrell Williams. Dark Horse, Katy Perry. Fancy.
Banger.
I'm so fancy.
Banger.
Oh, no. Counting Stars by One
Banger.
Republic. Talk Dirty to Me. That's a good one, actually. All About That Bass. Rude. Why you gonna be so rude?
Banger.
I think in 2014, Stay With Me, Sam Smith.
Mega banger.
Oh my gosh. Laura, is it Timber? Timber by Pitbull? I'm going down. Kesha's so back, by the way. Oh, Shake It Off, Taylor Swift. That's a terrible song. Turn down for what? The Monster by Eminem and Rihanna is it 2014? Oh.
All of those are.
No, Laura. Take off the flannel. Take off the flannel and the braid. And what's the two braids? What are those called? Pigtails? Is that what they're called?
Golden.
So 2014, we were the idiots of the day back when we thought that was good. Why you gonna be so rude? Chandelier by Sia. That one by
Am I wrong?
the Gaudier song. That one's still a banger. Which one was that one? What's the name of it?
Now you're just somebody that I used to
Somebody
know.
That I Used to Know. That was good then. It's good now. That's got staying power. Those are those are your idiots of the day. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. When we come back, he just won the Stanley Cup. Josh Graham joins the program. It's Westwood One Sports at the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show with 4 seconds left until break.
This is
One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Throwing it back to 2014. Little happy with Pharrell Williams. Oh, he is Westwood One Sports' own Josh Graham, and he is probably $500 poorer thanks to the merchandise that was purchased last night for the Carolina Hurricanes Stanley Cup threads. And he joins the Drake Toll Show. Josh, I appreciate you being up early. You didn't sleep. Come on.
Yes, it was actually about $89. Not that bad. We got a hat. We got a shirt. I am short about those amount of funds that you talked about because my 14-1 San Antonio Spurs to win the finals ticket, courtesy of our friends at DraftKings, that I bet in January did not come home. So that set me back a little. But other than that, I'm happy like Pharrell Williams. Very happy.
I mentioned it at the top of our show. The pictures of you as a young kid wearing the Carolina Hurricanes threads, and Carolina surgeons pretty quickly as an organization, as a brand, and then 20 years of cup dormants, of not even being there but having a great regular season, the return of Rod Brindamore, all the storylines to go into this. My favorite one right now, and it's the one that's the most in your face, is Brandon Bussey and his just put the team on his Greg Jennings with Darren Sharper coming down on him, but he does it for Madden, puts the team on his back, and Bussey closes it out. Where do the storylines start for you, Josh Graham, the kid who's a Carolina Hurricanes fan, seeing his team win it all?
It's with Rod Brindamore. If you're watching on Drake Toll's social medias or on YouTube or wherever, you could see that I have sitting right next to me here a Rod Brindamore jersey that was signed by the 2006 Stanley Cup championship team 20 years ago. And I was a diehard, lifelong Carolina Hurricanes fan. I have two teams that I wear out there. And it's important to acknowledge your biases when they exist. For me, it's the Carolina Hurricanes, it's the Baltimore Orioles. So last night was one of the best nights I've ever had as a sports fan. And in 2006, I just worshipped Rod Brindamore, worshipped at the altar of Brindamore. He was the captain of the team. And then I get into the media business about 15 years ago, and Rod Brindamore is finishing up his playing career, and it's not ending well. Jordan Staal shows up, and the Hurricanes are in a 9-year playoff drought where every single summer, Drake, the national conversation surrounding the Carolina Hurricanes, if there ever was one, was some version of, all right, when are you going to relocate the team? Hockey in North Carolina, that's not working. Look at Atlanta. They moved the Thrashers from Atlanta to Winnipeg. Quebec could really use a team. You'd always hear these things. And then Rod Brindamore and Tom Dundon, for that matter, took over. The new Portland Trail Blazers owner took over the Carolina Hurricanes franchise in 2018, and he makes a coaching change. There's a coaching change. And Rod, at that point, is just an assistant coach. And Tom Dundon was talking about this last night, saying, the thing I love the most about Rod Brindamore is that he loves the state of North Carolina, and he loves this organization when nobody at that point was loving the Carolina Hurricanes. And he hired him. And, I mean, every year, it's been 8 full seasons, that Tom Dundon and Rod Brindamore have been at the controls of this franchise, and they've made the playoffs every single year. They've won at least one postseason series every single year, something that hasn't happened in the NHL in 3 decades, 8 straight years of winning at least a postseason series. This is one of the most random sports ever, where President's Trophy winners lose in the first round. And then Rod Brindamore wins the Stanley Cup as a coach for the same franchise he was the captain for. I would go as far to say, Drake, there is not a singular figure that is more meaningful to their respective organization in American professional sports than Rod Brindamore is to the Carolina Hurricanes. And I think the proof is in the pudding.
The all-time franchise wins, the percentage that Rod Brindamore has been a part of, probably, I don't have that number in front of me. I'm going to go substantial on that one.
They've won 102 or 103 postseason games in Carolina Hurricanes history. Rod Brindamore was either a player or a coach for all but 2 of them.
That's the stat. The stat is right.
Crazy.
In front of that's there's nobody else that has that number.
Crazy.
That doesn't exist anywhere else in professional sports. And so as heavy of a statement as that is to say one person, but no, that one person has been Carolina since its inception. Not necessarily since, but in its inception of winning at this level. And yeah.
And there's a through line. There's a through line here, Drake. So the 2 biggest stories in sports this weekend, the New York Knicks winning a title and the Carolina Hurricanes winning a title. Here's the through line. Everybody in the states that these championships were won are happy. Everybody. Because in New York, with respect to the Nets, there are split allegiances in football. You have the Giants and the Jets. You got the Yankees, you have the Mets. Everybody roots for the Knicks. And that's what you saw with that elation, that celebration. In North Carolina, this is a state where the allegiances are split on college grounds, where you have, when North Carolina wins a title, well, you got NC State and Duke fans who are like, all right, I don't really care that much. Whenever Duke wins a championship, it's like a championship down here. Like people are celebrating on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill. It's like every year. Oh, Duke lost? Okay, let's hit the streets and celebrate. That's a thing that happens. But everybody roots for the Carolina Hurricanes. And for Brindamore, just the idea of somebody, Drake, breaking through the place where like grandmothers would have Dean Smith portraits hanging on their wall, or Mike Krzyzewski, break through into that type of lexicon, into the Dale Earnhardt intimidator lexicon. That's what Rod Brindamore has done by being that good, that dominant, and that loyal to this organization. He's in that type of class. And for a hockey player / coach to do that in the South and North Carolina, it's an absolute freaking achievement.
The name Jordan Staal, in a way that carries a lot of Carolina in those letters and has for the last 15 years, for him to eclipse this again, to win another finals, but almost 20 years later from his first, without question, I'm going to hand you that storyline because you've nailed everyone so far.
Yeah, Jordan Staal, he went through all the bleep of that 9-year playoff drought. And think about this, Drake. His older brother, Eric, is the most talented player to ever play for the Carolina Hurricanes. His name is up in the rafters. And if you don't think that he recognizes that shadow that he plays in, the last 2 times that Eric has been in the building for Jordan Staal's games prior to last night, it was game 1 of the finals where Jordan Staal scored. And then it was when Eric had his name put into the rafters, Jordan Staal scored a hat trick that night. Eric was on the ice with Jordan last night, and they hold up the cup together. I don't know what it is about the Stanley Cup final presentation. I was with a friend of mine from Texas who was just hanging out with me. I had a party of folks at my house watching the game, and we were all just a bunch of dudes moved by the Stanley Cup presentation. And he's an unattached party. It is the greatest presentation in sports where that trophy gets presented, and I think it's because of the significance of the trophy itself. I don't think there's a sport where the dream growing up, Drake, is holding up the actual physical trophy, winning a title the way that you have with the Stanley Cup. And there's such reverence where growing up, if you're around it, you never touch the trophy. If you're a youth hockey player, you don't touch the trophy. So when you see the faces of these guys when it's coming towards them and they get a chance to lift it up, it just moves you. And when Rod was talking about his dad who passed away a few years ago, and that's what he was thinking of when he was on the bench, when he was getting emotional with the coaching staff, that was really moving. But bringing it back to Jordan, Rod Brindamore never gets more defensive and emotional when he's talking about Jordan Stahl, because what Jordan did in this series and in winning this cup, he's going to have his name up in the rafters right next to his brother. And what a special story that is. The Brindamore piece is special itself, but the idea that a franchise has two brothers who are so good winning cups without each other being on the roster. This isn't like a Sedin twin situation, winning cups and then earning the right to have their names retired for the same organization. That's another story that makes this even more fun. And by the way, Drake, they should be the favorites to win it next year too, because every single skater other than Alex Nikishin is under contract for next season. So Jordan Stahl might have a decision whether or not he's going to retire. I don't think he is when he has 1 year left on his contract and literally everybody's coming back.
It is Josh Graham, an elated Josh Graham from Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app on the Drake Toll Show today. And Brindamore, Stahl, if Carolina won the cup, those names we're going to talk about them no matter what. That's written in there. We could have told you that a month ago. If they win it, those are two names you probably start with. That Bussy storyline, though, coming into the series thinking that Freddie Anderson might be one of those names. Wow, they won it, and Freddie was great. And instead, you throw in Bussy and an incredible performance again to clinch it in Game 6. That last name that we did not expect to have a conversation about today, what does he mean to this Stanley Cup?
There is a song title that, as you were asking this question, I'm Googling to make sure is FCC compliant, whether or not I could say it on air. It is Eric Banks's Buss It that plays anytime Brandon Bussy makes a big-time save in a game at Lenovo Center. So just imagine this pasty white guy making a big save and the building going nuts. And then the first thing you hear is, "Buss it, Buss it," and the entire building starts chanting it and then gyrating with their arms up in the air. It's a great story. It really, the goaltending tandem of Freddie Anderson and Brandon Bussy, a great story because nobody knew. Here's the irony of it. The hurdle that the Hurricanes couldn't get past is the Florida Panthers the last few years, beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals twice in recent seasons. Florida didn't make the playoffs this year. At the start of the season, Florida waived Brandon Bussy, and the Carolina Hurricanes pick up Bussy, and he wins 30-plus games in the regular season when Freddie really wasn't himself at the start of the season. And Freddie Anderson goes on this run. Bussy then picks up the baton and carries it the rest of the way. You can make the argument that Brandon Bussy last night, that might have been the greatest postseason goaltending performance in the history of the Carolina Hurricanes franchise. And that's saying something considering a goalie won the Conn Smythe 20 years ago. But Freddie Anderson, he is the oldest player on this team, not named Jordan Stahl, to not win a cup. So for him to be a backup and be the first guy that Jordan Stahl's thinking of to give the cup to was a really nice story. Freddie Anderson dealt with tragedy a few weeks ago during the Montreal series when Claude Lemieux came out and was recognized in Montreal shortly before passing away later that week. We all learned that Freddie Anderson's agent was Claude Lemieux, and dealing with that was a real deal behind the scenes. And part of the reason why when he was off last week, he wasn't just sitting on the bench as the backup. They let him have those nights off. It was a lot that Freddie Anderson was going through. But Brandon Bussy able to pick it up and carry it the rest of the way. His family was front and center on the TV broadcast, which was a lot of fun. And my guess is moving forward that Brandon Bussy is going to be the goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Wow. Josh, before we get you out of here, again, appreciate you being up early with us.
Sure.
There are sports fans who don't know what it's like. There are 32-year-old Dallas Cowboys fans who've lived a pretty good life, pretty good 32 years, and have just never seen their team win anything substantial. For sports fans who don't know what it feels like, give them the heart of a fan of a team who just won it all at the top of their sport.
Googling another set of words, seeing if I could say this. Post-coital is a word that came to mind.
There it is.
But Drake, it's better than that. I was on the phone with a friend of mine. I'm like, this is better than that. This is calling my dad, actually ignoring 2 phone calls from my dad after the game, and then calling my dad was great. And it's a Sunday night in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is an hour and a half away from Raleigh. So I wasn't going to make that drive, especially knowing I was going to be on the Drake Toll Show this morning and other places. I didn't know what to do. I felt like Ricky Bobby doing a post-race interview. I didn't know what to do with my hands. And so what is what is a North Carolinian to do in that situation? He goes to Cookout, and
Heck yeah.
Not even hungry. I just go to the Cookout drive-thru. The lady had no idea that the Carolina Hurricanes maybe didn't even know what the Hurricanes were. And I got myself a big double burger tray with a chicken quesadilla, French fries, and a Dr. Pepper at roughly 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just sat there, and then I listened to podcasts, and then I rewatched things, and then I watched interviews, and then I went to the team store website, and then I bought 2 items, a hat and a shirt, as I mentioned, set back $89, and they said they might be delivered sometime in July.
That's it. By July, they mean October, but July is wishful thinking. Josh, thanks so much for joining the show, giving us the perspective. How can folks best follow you?
Westwood One Sports Night is a program that Linnell Willingham and I host on Westwood One Sports, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. I will not be on that program tonight and tomorrow, and I will not be doing Wednesday's show from Lenovo Center for Game 7 because the Hurricanes figured things out. So that's a good thing. Do I have any other knickknacks or anything to punctuate this interview with? I do, Drake. Ready for this? Hold 1 second, buddy. Hold 1 second. We're going to punctuate this thing the right way. I'm going to put on this hockey helmet, and I can hear with the headphones somehow. Drake, let's go Canes. Let's go Canes. Yeah. Yeah.
That is one happy Josh Graham, post-coital Josh Graham on the Drake Toll Show. Thanks again to Josh. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. When we come back, let's do it all over again. The same energy. Chris Sachi of Locked On Knicks, notable longtime Knicks fan, feeling the same thing Josh Graham is today. This is the Drake Toll Show.
A statement to start it off.
Hey, Papa, what's up?
Hey. How we doing?
You're in the behind the scenes. It's just me, you, the YouTube chat.
Man, I love the YouTube chat. Everyone watching, I love you guys. Your support's awesome.
Dude, you got the Knicks set up behind you too. It's awesome.
Yeah, a little Jersey show. Hey, this is Brunson territory. We're looking at is he here at this restaurant? Is he here on this boardwalk?
Oh,
Yeah,
This
he
could be
lives
day.
down here.
I watched him on Good Morning America right now. I've got my little quad box pulled up.
Yeah.
The media journey's got to be crazy for those guys.
Oh yeah, in New York itself, man, it's pretty special. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
We got about 4 minutes to it, and so
Perfect.
we'll check your levels here, which they can do on there pretty easily, and then we'll pop you in here in a sec.
Sounds great, Papa. Thank you. Should be fun.
Oh, Lexington's a city, but it ain't so big, it freaks me out. And if I need a breather, I can hit the Parkway. Be home before the bars all close, drink away the lies she told. Think about the days. She was a pure-eyed child, a rodeo queen, high school lover in a badass Jeep, far from the eyes of a watchful town. Her mama didn't need to know. Good corn liquor to shake this cold, and good heart loving on a gravel road. Juliet, won't you crawl outside your window and dance in the arms of your redneck Romeo? Push came down to shove, I'd be a bandit for her love. Shoot sharp and walk away. She was good before she changed her name, and I bet that ain't all that's changed. Goddamn, I remember the nights. I was a young punk kid from a dried up town, Cold Car County full of hunting hounds. She was the one who kept those boys at bay. Her high heels and my Red Wing boots, cutting couches in the living room. Juliet, won't you crawl outside your window and dance in the arms of your redneck Romeo? I can't win for all this losing, I can't see for all this boozing. But by God, I can keep it together. Tell me something good.
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Monday, June 15th, the year of our Lord 2026. And why delay it? Chris Sachi, Locked On Knicks, joins the program. Sachi, the New York Knicks are NBA champions. Go.
Drake, this has been the theme of our last two appearances together. Here's what happened. Go. That's all it takes. That's how cool this is. This is a team that had the longest wait between titles in basketball history. 53 years as we watch it unfold together on the Jersey Shore. I was lucky enough to be with my dad, my mom, my sister, and all tears coming out on every side. Tears coming out right now. It's amazing. This team was doubted. This team has, we'll get to it, some 2011 Mavericks in them, where it was a veteran-laden team that had one overachieving star, and then really, although Nowitzki was amazing, right, but one star that led the way. Brunson puts on his cape, 45 points in the closeout game. Jordan-esque in the way that Jordan did 45 in his Game 6 closeout game, in his final game with the Bulls. Amazing. You can tell the emotions are high. The voice is hoarse still because of how much we celebrated and loved, and random guys I've never met before in the bar bathroom. Hey man, we did it. This is for all the things, all the pain we went through, and all the pain has been finally put aside, and the drought is over, and New York is on fire, and things are amazing.
Sach, I told the story earlier in the show, the 6 o'clock hour Eastern time. We might still have a few folks listening about where we were, kind of hop, skip, and a jump outside of the city, and watching around Knicks fans who've grown up. You can tell a lot of people in that place, in that joint, had seen the culmination of their years of fandom come to fruition. For you, though, I give my perspective. For you, take America through the moment that Chris Sachi learns the New York Knicks are NBA champions.
Drake, what made this title so amazing is that this is the only team, NBA Finals history, to be down 10-plus points in every game that they won to win the NBA Finals. I mean, they were down, of course, 29 in Manhattan. We talked about that last week, when the Knicks were playing at the Garden. But then on the road here in San Antonio, the Knicks were down 15 in the first quarter. And people around me are like, Spurs, they're going to win this one. Knicks in 6, perhaps. But, Knicks fans, at this point, how could you have counted them out at any point during this finals? And for Knick fandom, like you said, a big weight has been lifted. I mean, for some New York sports fans like myself, who also root for the Mets and the Islanders and the Jets, first title I've ever seen. And I used to get emotional, Drake, just thinking about my teams making the finals, making the title. And for it to actually come together on the backs of a team of underachievers, your best player is a second-round pick, your supporting cast has been counted out. People saying at the time of the Jalen Brunson signing, he's not a 1, he's maybe not even a 2. I'm sure he watches those clips before every game because his motivation's off the charts. And to figure out, it's really a David versus Goliath story. You have this 6'1", maybe in Timberlands, 6'1" guard who was second-round pick, counted out, versus the next coming, right? Here's Wembanyama, 7'4", and this young Spurs team that's on the come up. Well, this Knicks team did just enough to win every single time. We'll get to this too, but the Spurs made a lot of silly mistakes. That the youth of their team opened the door for the Knicks to come back in these games, and then the Knicks found a way each and every time. Not all titles are created equal, Drake. This one had the theatrics, the dramatics, and New York is all the better for it because it's been long suffering.
Can I take you back to the NBA Cup or Christmas Day or January 18th? Can you give me a pinpoint of when you thought? Because I guess even after the Cup and all, I was always, okay, the Knicks, good regular season. But I guess if I can try to conceptualize it myself, I saw the Knicks as the team that was down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks. That's the version of the Knicks that I kind of expected. That you all right, if there's one thing we know about the Knicks, they may have a great regular season. Something's going to happen in the playoffs where they Knicks themselves. At what point did you know, and it could be early in the year or it could be 3 weeks ago, the Knicks are in the NBA Finals. The Knicks are an NBA champion caliber level team?
Drake, that's a really good question because they were up and down all year. They win the NBA Cup, right? Then they followed that up by going 2-9. And then they win 9 straight. And then they have a 2-7 stretch. And then they're limping after the All-Star break. Like, all season long, this team really never, just like that 2011 Dallas Mavericks team that knocked off LeBron, similar kind of deal where this Knicks team knocked off the Spurs and Wembanyama might be the next of coming. They never really clicked until when did I know, Drake? After they closed out Atlanta, by 51-point margin. Until then, though, when Knicks fans were down 2-1 against the Hawks, like, I remember watching that game with my dad on the way to New York City, and we're like, this could be it right now. And it's like, then everything's blowing up in your face. Like, the 5 first-round picks for Bridges. You fired Tom Thibodeau for Mike Brown. What if you got to fire him? What if you have to pay 3 coaches for next year? Karl Anthony Towns, you make this big gamble giving up Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. All these questions emerge. Okay, now you got to go for the prized possession of Giannis in the summer. So when did I know? It really didn't pick up steam until they end up closing out the Atlanta in an insane margin, right? Then they blow through the Sixers, and then they blow through the Cavaliers. And then at that point, as we were talking about in real time on the show, you get to the win streak, 9, 10, 11. At that point, you say, okay, this team has reached the level. Because, like you mentioned, for the NBA Cup, they did reach the highest of highs throughout the regular season and the lowest of lows. But my thing that I talked about on Locked On Knicks all the time was, they have shown us that they can get to the highest of highs. So as long as they can bottle it up at the right time, they're going to be a really dangerous team. And they did. To their credit, they did, because down 2-1, Drake, like you said, things could have gone back to here. And it's over, right? It could have happened in the middle of the playoffs. Game 1 in San Antonio, they start slow. What if they're back to those Knicks of, January, February? To their credit, they've figured out a way. Even when they didn't play the best offense throughout this entire finals, offensive rating of 110 would have been last in the league this year, right? They still figured out a way. Every time.
Chris Sachi of Locked On Knicks joining the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Sachi, these Spurs, this NBA Finals, the way it played out, for the Knicks to win, it would take something Herculean from Jalen Brunson. He gave you exactly that. Past that name, and we'll get to Brunson, past that name, how did the Knicks do it?
I love the way you said Herculean because Knicks fans, Joe Beningo is one of my idols, WFAN guy for years, right? He made a great point. To snap a 53-year title drought, you need to do something heroic, Herculean. You need to overcome a 29-point comeback. You need to have one of the best tip-ins and best shots in NBA history. I mean, I think that's other names. OG Anunoby is a guy who played some of the best two-way ball of anybody in the league this postseason. Not only the tip-in, like he'll be remembered in Knicks lore forever for that, but he's a guy who was averaging 20 points per game before his hamstring went out in the first round, came back, and to his credit, once again, was not necessarily clicking offensively the whole series, but figure out, okay, the Knicks offense is predicated on one of the best scorers in the league. And I'm going to just say it, Drake, one of the best players in the league now. Let's just do that. I'm going to do that right off the rip. But OG Anunoby is someone whose two-way presence has elevated the Knicks to a team where they now have threats all over the floor. And they also took a huge gamble in getting Mikal Bridges, another two-way guy. You look at Jalen Brunson, 6'1" guard in Timberlands. You need size around him. So you have Josh Hart, one of the best glue guys in the league. Bridges, Anunoby, Towns, defensively, maybe not the best. He put his hard hat on this entire finals, guarding Victor Wembanyama. With his foul trouble, with his issues throughout, plagued him his whole career, you have to give him a huge tip of the cap because that was an unbelievable performance. So I know I just shouted out kind of the whole starting five. And then last but not least, Landry Shamet, a guy who injured his knee in Game 5, came back, and then before that hit a huge three to cut the deficit, right? And then Jose Alvarado closing Game 4. Like, that's what I think needs to be understood. Leon Rose, this front office, has built a team with such depth. Even Ariel Hukporti plays 3 minutes because of Towns foul trouble and gets a huge block. Like, up and down the roster, this team has had depth like I've never seen. That's how you win the NBA title. You have guys all over the roster who can contribute. And you have a coach who believes in all of them too, which is perhaps different than the previous coach, Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, the buck kind of stopped for San Antonio in this series at Victor Wembanyama. And the fact that they couldn't find the reliable Stephon Castle, maybe one night. Is it De'Aaron Fox? Maybe one night. They couldn't find somebody else to complement Wembanyama enough to finish both offensively and defensively. And now the Knicks are NBA champions for it. Jalen Brunson being at the front of that. His father, the Brunson Lord, the Villanova. There's so many branches to the story, but Brunson now as a star, and I think we were kicking it around after the game was over of, all right, the Babe Ruths, the Joe DiMaggio's, the Eli Manning's name I think I threw out there. Where does Jalen Brunson sit when you talk about New York legends, New York stars?
I'm getting the chisel out. I'm going to Mount Rushmore. I'm making this one happen. I'm sorry, because you think about the heroism, the 53-year drought. Patrick Ewing couldn't win a title. Carmelo Anthony couldn't win a title. He has to go back to Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed to do so. I do think he sits up there, top guys like Jeter, Ruth, DiMaggio, Mantle, Manning. Let's give Manning 2 titles, and he beat Brady twice. Jalen Brunson is in that class. I think he has to get his beautiful mug, his big head chiseled onto the Mount Rushmore of New York. I don't know who you want to push out. Okay, maybe it is Patrick because, again, he never got it done in New York. And as much as we love Patrick, and by the way, since I'm talking about him and him giving Towns a huge hug with tears in his eyes, every 90s Nick, the weight's been lifted off of them. All Carmelo Anthony, that era of the team, like it's been an overall amazing. What Brunson has done for New York and lifting this drought, I think, has to be said. And I love what you said in the question, by the way, that the Spurs couldn't find that number 2 because that was kind of what plagued the Knicks during the Ewing era. They never had a guy who could step up and hit shots beyond Patrick enough to win the title. And I think I'm getting the hammer and chisel out, Drake. Jalen Brunson not only is the king of New York right now, but is an all-time New York Knick, an all-time New York athlete. Even with 9 professional teams, I think he's on that Mount Rushmore. I think he has to be to slay the dragon of the longest drought. It's unbelievable.
You've said it on the show before, and Chris Sachi, Locked On Knicks, joining the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, but the division in New York amongst sports fan bases. I love the Mets, you love the Yankees. I love the Jets, you love the Giants. That's the relationship between these teams and a lot of New Yorkers. What makes, and this question may be self-explanatory, but I love hearing it from you, what makes the Knicks different?
The Knicks are different because they have that unification. All the clips you guys see online of people hugging people and going nuts and climbing on buildings, that's because almost everyone in the city is a Knicks fan. You know, the Nets were in New Jersey. They moved to Brooklyn in 2013 haphazardly because everyone in Brooklyn's already a Knicks fan. You know, and now, good luck, Nets, because youngsters are seeing this Knicks run and they're going to become Knicks fans even more so going forward. It's just, this is breeding a generation of younger fans, and really the casual fan has not been a Knicks fan in a long time because they haven't been good, right? So for the first time, there's some Yankees action here where like everybody's getting around the Knicks because they haven't been good in a long time. They haven't made the finals in 26 years. So for this to be different is that, when the Yankees won the 09 title, Mets fans are like, all right, they beat the Phillies, so it's like you're kind of torn, Yankee fans, when the Mets made the pennant in 15, they'll wear their Mets caps and they'll have support it, but they're not like, wow, this is my team. For 90% of New York, and I'll give the Nets 10%, that might be some credit, right? That might be giving them too much credit, but for 90% of New York and beyond, to finally have this dragon slayed and unified. Again, the Giants win and beat the Pats twice. Jet fans, I'm a Jet fan. I liked it because he beat Tom Brady, but they're still not like, this is my championship. And what you're seeing and what you'll see at the parade on Thursday is millions of people loving and loving on this team that has done what we all thought was impossible during the terrible years, the Isaiah Thomas chaos, all the stuff that went into what makes this so sweet for all of New York City.
People love to hate. People love to idolize. People are torn on New York as a whole. But the Knicks, a New York sports team, brought America together this weekend is what it felt like. And that takes something special. And we're seeing something special unfold. Sam Darnold's got a ring. Jalen Brunson's got a ring. Brandon Bussey, the goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes, has a ring. This has been a special sports season, a special open in 2026. We're only halfway there. Who's going to win the Banana Ball Championship League? That's the real question. We're still getting to rings and championships over the course of the year. Chris Sachi, Locked On Knicks, joining us. Sach, how can folks best follow you through the off season now? It's over.
I know. And it's now every show, guys. I'm going to warn you, your New York Knicks, the champions. You're listening to Locked On Knicks of the champion New York Knicks. That's going to be the mantra. We're doing the top 10 moments of the playoffs later today, which is going to be really fun in honor of Locked On's 10-year anniversary. YouTube's the way to go, but everywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, follow us. It'll be fun because how are we going to pick 10? Just like the Mount Rushmore. How do you put, how do you do this? Because there's so many. You got Mitchell Robinson dunking on Joel Embiid. You have OG dunking on Wembanyama twice. You have so many moments that were great. So yeah, Locked On Knicks is going to be pumping out content. Look, by the way, just a little teaser for the offseason. The Knicks have draft picks. Like, that's how good this regime is. They have the 24th pick. They have some picks in the high second round. Like, there's a lot for us to talk about. Do they move those picks for someone and get in another, impact player versus some young guys? So it's really fun. This Knicks team is actually well put together, and so is Locked On Knicks, and so is Westwood One. Thank you for having me. I know the fans you guys have watched this play out from me coming on in the first round to now seeing it really bear fruit for a finals championship is unbelievable. And again, the emotions are high, and you can see them on my face right now. Thank you, Drake.
We'll do it again, Sachi, before the draft, and to talk a week later about the 30,000-foot view of the Knicks still being champions, because a week from now it will be the case. Chris Sachi, Locked On Knicks, joining the Drake Toll Show. Thanks again, Sach.
Thank you. And maybe we'll talk about what craziness happens at the parade, too. Should be fun.
Absolutely. The parade coming up on Thursday. Addie Bates producing and Laura Jimenez running the board. Thanks again to Chris Sachi. And when we come back, let's hear the final call from Mike Breen. Knicks, world champions. Music Monday is also on the way. This is the Drake Toll Show.
A statement to start.
insurance rip-off lying. FDA, big bank is buying. Fake computer crashes dying. And cloning, well, they're multiplying. Fashion shoots with Becky Hansen, Courtney Love, and Marilyn Manson. You're all pics run to your mansions. Come around, we'll kick your asses.
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Okay, Addie, learn me something. So with that one, do we get copyrighted for that or no? Like, can that be in the podcast or no?
Well, I mean, if it's only like 5 seconds, then you're fine. But I mean, what every other song is it?
Why are you asking us if not all the other songs?
Yeah, I know every other one. He's like, wait, I didn't pick this one.
Because I know that the other ones. I know the ones that have like the words. Like if we play the one that we usually play there, that's probably copyright.
Yes.
I don't know if that one was though. I don't know what the rules are. Yeah, that one.
Because it doesn't have words doesn't mean it's not copyrighted.
That's why I'm asking. It was a simple question. No one needs to be.
AI said, I hear it. You're
right.
Sorry.
I just want to know.
I thought that was just. I'm sorry. That's on me. I'm being mean. I just thought that was common.
You shouldn't be mean here because because you just explained. You just explained that if it's 5 seconds, that it's not a problem. So you gave me more context on what is and is not copyright. So you said there is a world where it's not.
I thought it was 30. 15?
It kind of depends. It kind of depends. Like, I would say that 5 to 10 seconds is like your sweet spot there because anything more than that, then they can kind of. It just really depends on.
Test it out.
Because if we played Taylor Swift's "Shake It Off" right now for 15 seconds, I'm pretty sure they would delete the station. I'm pretty sure they would.
Quit.
Well, it's just because you don't like Taylor Swift, which is fine. I'm not going to push back on that. But notable Knicks fan, Taylor Swift,
and Cleveland Cavaliers fan.
She loves the Knicks. Speaking of those Knicks, Mike Breen, poetic, on the call when New York wins its first title since 1953 in basketball. Mike?
Tony, if you're the Knicks, you just back up or you press up and immediately take a foul in the backcourt. You don't even have to foul. Now, 4-point lead. Here comes Fox. 5 seconds remaining. Fox to Wemby. Wemby tries a three, puts it up, off the mark. Anunoby to rebound. It's over. It's over. Knicks fans, this is not a dream. Your long, long wait has ended. Go ahead and cry. After 53 years, the Knicks are finally NBA champions once again.
Go ahead and cry. Permission granted by Mike Breen to America over the New York Knicks. And that win is one of, I keep going back to this. Like when the Raptors won it, I don't think it really, do we really care? You know, really, when the Bucks won it, America didn't stop. It wasn't this, oh wow, moment of almost national reverence. It feels kind of like that for the Knicks. They became easy to root for. A New York team became easy to root for. And I think, Addie, are you mad the Knicks won?
No.
Yep. Laura, are you upset the Knicks are winners of the NBA Finals?
No.
We usually get mad. We usually hate the team that wins it. Last year, Tyrese Halliburton became a great story, and everybody's like, oh, Pacers. Thunder win, we all hated it. Ugh. The Thunder, the team that was supposed to win won. Ugh. And they have all these draft picks. The Knicks winning kind of rocks. 8th different champion in 8 years, too. I don't know if that's good for the league, but I'll take it. We'll go to Sportsnet last night, where another team took home glory at the top of the hockey world, NHL, winning the Stanley Cup. Here's the final call on Sportsnet, the Carolina Hurricanes.
Stepping up is down. The perfect storm in the 20th anniversary of their first title. Once again, the Carolina Hurricanes are Stanley Cup champions.
Those are words you've not heard in 20 years. 53 years for the Knicks, 20 years for the Canes, 73 years combined between the two, and droughts are over both in Raleigh, North Carolina, and Manhattan, New York. What are we going to talk about tomorrow?
Got nothing. We can take the day off.
So now what happens? Baseball?
World Cup.
Hey.
The World Cup is happening. That's a great point. The USA upset over Paraguay. Pretty cool. I liked that. USA was plus 110 going into it and beat the brakes off of Paraguay. You know, I've always said that I hate Paraguay. So this is a big one. It was personal for me in my household.
Can you point it? Do you think you could point out where it is on a map?
Not even remotely close.
Is that part of a trivia question, geography, and him having to point out on a map?
It might take me a couple times. It might take me a second to get the continent correct. And I'm a history minor. Geography and history are two different things. But I feel like I'm not like I can do state capitals almost to a T.
Alabama.
I can't do Paraguay.
All right, so that was really good. That was really good.
Wow.
Alabama's capital is Tuscaloosa.
Okay, so we got that was good. I'm gonna make that.
Florida's Tallahassee, Carson City, Nevada, Albany, New York. Streets remember. Trenton, New Jersey. Now what, huh? Actually, it might not be Trenton. I don't know. It's time. Happy Monday, everybody, for a little Music Monday. Addie Bates has 5 songs programmed in, 5 seconds of each song. Drake Toll has to answer the artist and the song. What?
Beforehand, I gotta apologize because there's a listener out there who I love deeply. It's my cousin Peyton, and she's the biggest Taylor Swift fan in the world. So I'm sorry that I said I would quit if Shake It Off played. I would not actually. I would not. I know.
Hey,
all
don't
the
take it
lyrics,
back.
Peyton. No. That's my girl. We're like this, okay? We're like this. But Music Monday, the theme of this one is these were all the songs from trivia last Wednesday where another team accused me of cheating because I got all of them right.
Okay, let's go.
Southern girls with the way they talk, they knock me out when I'm down there. Really sleazy. All they just say is please me or spend some time and rock a rhyme. I said it's not that. Don't make me wet. The check got me going like General Electric, and the lights are blinking. Made up of this brotherhood of man, or whatever that means.
Okay. I'm confident in most of these. Can I hear song 1, please?
Southern girls with the way they talk, they knock me out when I'm down there.
The Beach Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Girls, Girls, Girls.
No. California Girls.
Okay. I was more or less the girls part. I got a third of it. That's a point. It's one and a third points.
No.
Next song.
Really sleazy. All they just say is please me or spend some time and rock a rhyme. I said it's not that
easy. It's Tricky by Run DMC.
Woo! I'm for that one.
Song 3.
Don't make me wet. The check got me going like General Electric, and the lights are blinking.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard the song a million times. Like, it's a super popular 90s song. Who sings it?
Cypress Hill.
Okay.
That's Insane in the Brain.
Insane in the Membrane. Oh, Insane in the Brain. It could be 80s. Cypress Hill. Okay, song 3.
Made up of this brotherhood of man, or whatever that means.
What's up, 4 Non-Blondes?
Nice.
Yeah. Last one. Linkin Park.
Ugh.
Who is it?
Audio Slave. What? Like a Stone.
Linkin Park.
Audio Slave. That's Chris Cornell. And the band in the background, it's Rage Against the Machine, other than their lead singer. Come on.
Wow. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Colin Jones. Ryan McGuire to Bruce Gilbert and Armin Williams. Thank you all for a job. It's a pleasure to be here. We'll see you tomorrow. You Better, You Bet is coming up. It's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This has been, and it always will be. See you from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern, 24 hours from now. The Drake Toll Show.
This is West.